Did you know that in a normal playthrough of Grand Theft Auto, you have to commit quite a lot of Grand Theft Auto? But what if I don't want to steal cars? What if I'd rather spend my time assaulting pensioners or running over people in a bus? And so I set out to complete everything in Grand Theft Auto 5 without committing Grand Theft Auto a single time. Every mission, every activity, joining every cult? As you can probably guess, this was absolutely horrendous, especially since the first mission is literally about stealing a car. But before that, we joined the boys in the prologue, where we almost failed the challenge straight away, as they seemed to be trying to commit as many crimes as possible. Fortunately, GTA was not one of them, as, unlike in future heists, our crew member was here to pick us up in the getaway car, literally saving the run in the first minute. This guy's now my favourite character, and I'm looking forward to completing more successful heists.
T, you gotta get out of here! I'm gonna leave you, Mikey! No! Die, you!
First mission done, and no GTA committed. Let's go! But now, the fun and games were over, as the game decided I'd already made too much progress, and it was time to bend me over, and I had to figure out how on earth I was supposed to get past the first proper mission that is straight up trying to make me commit GTA. I worked out that I could sit in the car and the game wouldn't count it as stealing, and nor would I, you know. I'm just sort of testing out the ergonomics of the seat. And then if I just sat there long enough, the owner would show up and just beat Franklin up. And after doing this 3 times, I think the game just felt bad for me because it literally gave me the option to skip over this part, which included having to steal the car and meant we could progress onto the next section. As I would soon find out, this technique of failing so I could skip over missions wouldn't work when I needed it later in the run, and I would have to find other methods of progressing. But that was an issue for later because I had a much bigger problem. You see, in addition to completing 100% in the game, I also set myself some extra objectives, like earning at least $1 billion on each character. And I had no idea how I was supposed to make that kind of money because all of the websites and money guides I tried didn't work for some reason. So instead, I got to work on one of the other easier objectives: joining the local cults. For Franklin, all we had to do was answer a few quick questions on a website, donate $200, and then $5,000, and then another $10,000, which I acquired by obtaining donations from local businesses, awarding us this very snug shirt. The following story missions left me genuinely concerned at how often the game was already forcing me to get in cars that weren't mine. I realised they were only repos, so the game didn't count them as stealing, but I knew it could bug out or change its mind at any point, and the run would be over. As bad as this was, these problems were really nothing compared to the headaches I would have to deal with later though.
Right through the fucking window. And fast.
Careful. Careful. When Michael was unlocked, I noticed he also wasn't in a cult yet, which we of course had to fix ASAP, but it was here that I ran into my first major setback, as to join the Epsilon program, one of the steps, apart from having to donate lots of money, involves stealing 5 cars. We'll come back to this later once I figure out how to complete it without failing, but needless to say, I was devastated Michael wasn't able to join a cult yet, just when I thought my day couldn't get any worse. Up until now I'd been using taxis to get around the map, when my personal vehicle wasn't available, to avoid, you know, committing GTA. Well, it was here that the game decided, once again, this was too convenient and stopped taxis from picking me up. The one redeeming quality of having to run across the entire state of San Andreas was that it will make completing certain objectives later on much easier, as Michael was now an athletic specimen capable of running hundreds of miles without tiring. With our personal vehicle and taxis out of the picture, I ended up resorting to using a blimp for the next missions, but I don't think Rockstar expected anyone to do this because some very strange things started happening. No way this actually works. Wait, where's my blimp? Oh, there it is. They need to make these roads wider. This is discrimination against blimp users.
Hey, look, let's make this quick. I got shit to do. Where your wheels at?
Well, they were here. After our transportation difficulties, I shifted focus from the main missions to start progressing through the other categories, since there was a lot to get done, starting off by doing some more of Michael's favourite activity, winning 3 back-to-back triathlons for the hobbies and pastimes category, as well as completing all of the shooting range challenges. I was driving to the next mission when I spotted the absolute goat, Packy McCreary, and helped him escape from a robbery gone wrong. This unlocked him as a crew member for later heists, and was the first of many random events we would need to find for 100% completion. I wanted to go gambling, but I guess we didn't have enough money or something because they wouldn't let us in. So I got in touch with Lester to see if we could set up a heist, because honestly I still hadn't made much progress on getting, you know, $1 billion for each character. I hope you won't mind if I just bring this random guy into his house.
I was wondering when you'd show up.
I was dead.
Praise be.
We had our first close call just a few missions on from this, as at the end of the long stretch, as Franklin, Stretch and Lamar were escaping from a baller's ambush, Stretch almost threw the run when he decided it was a good idea to try and steal a car for us. Whoa, what does this guy think he's doing? Stretch, we're not taking that car. If we were going to achieve 100% completion, in addition to the main story missions, miscellaneous activities, hobbies and pastimes, and random events, we would need to complete at least 20 Strangers and Freaks missions, a series of side missions given to us by various unique characters across the map. Now I know why they're called Strangers and Freaks missions. Our next Strangers and Freaks mission, A Starlet in Vinewood, awards a trophy that only 0.3% of players have earned, and for very good reasons. You have to collect 50 letter scraps around the map to uncover the identity of Leonora Johnson's killer. Why is there a letter scrap on top of a random ass crane? Since I refused to steal a motor vehicle of any kind, I wasn't able to use a helicopter and had to do ridiculous parkour to get to some of them, including having to climb up like 20 ladders, which I swear just don't work for me half the time. Franklin must have some crazy friction burn right now. He's just acting tough because he knows we're watching. Collecting the scraps and doing a bit of mystery solving was a nice break from the challenge, but this wouldn't last long, as I knew there was an upcoming story mission that was going to try and force me to commit GTA. Wait a second. I recognise this. Midway through this, I spotted a man having his bike stolen, and although bike theft isn't technically GTA, vehicular theft of any kind is totally unacceptable in my books, and so I made sure to show no mercy against this bike thief, and returned it to its rightful owner. So, where are you going? You left your bike? Once you finish the letter scraps collectible, you have to take out the killer, Peter Dreyfus. Oh shit, wait. Is that the wrong guy?
Dreyfus, get the fuck back here!
Continuing my good deeds, I completed a few more random encounters, including saving this lady from being robbed at gunpoint. I'm such a good Samaritan. The jewel store job is our first heist, in which we rob a jewel store. We can either go with the loud approach, which would require me as prep work to steal a van, or the smart approach, which would also involve stealing a van. So, assuming the choice of approach wouldn't matter, I went with loud, but as I was about to find out, unlike previously, I wasn't able to skip the mission no matter how many times I failed. Oh no. I might be screwed here. I had no option but to load an old save file and try the smart approach instead, and got super lucky as the Bugstars van setup mission could be skipped, and the other setup didn't involve committing GTA with this approach, and we cruised through our first heist absolutely flawlessly.
Oh, man.
In the next mission, Mr. Phillips, we get the pleasure of meeting Trevor, but there was one small problem with him, in addition to his many big problems.
Take off your pants, cowboy.
We had to solve. He wasn't in a cult yet, and so we kidnapped 4 people and delivered them to the Altruist camp up in the mountains, completing 3 random events as well as progressing one of our extra objectives in the process. You would never have known at the time, but taking this couple to the Altruist camp would completely screw me over later in the playthrough. Things didn't quite work out with the Altruists, but after clearing out their camp, we were able to find some briefcases of cash and make a bit more progress towards the $1 billion goal. Oh, what do we have here then? Looks like we missed one. Spare you? And why would I do that? Oh, you're subscribed to the channel, are you? Let's have a look then. Wow guys, we have a loyal subscriber right here. I guess we'll let him go then. He's just now showing us that he's subscribed. Now that Trevor was a playable character, in addition to the story missions, extra activities and missions became available, such as the Rampages and Bail Jumper missions given by Maud, where I had to capture and return targets to a trailer, preferably alive, but you know, accidents happen. As Trevor, we wiped out the Lost MC's trailer park, the Aztecas, as well as the O'Neill farm.
One of your finest taxi cabs, please.
I'm really sorry. I don't have any free cars right now.
Before heading to Los Santos for our slightly awkward reunion with Michael.
Good lord.
In our first mission back together, we had to save Tracy from being humiliated on Fame or Shame, but ran into a bit of a problem as we were chasing Laszlo out of the building.
There, we take the truck.
Oh no. I can't get in the truck though. How am I supposed to do this? Thankfully, for now, mission skipping was still possible, and so I could skip over this part by failing 3 times in a row. And we are... Okay, yeah, we're still on the cliff for now. Honestly, I would be totally cooked if this stopped working.
Pants off.
Bro, why does Trevor do something like this in every fucking cutscene? I almost threw away all of my progress at the end of the next mission. I lost focus for a split second and was about to get into a car when trying to escape the police. If our extra goals of buying every property and weapon weren't enough, I also wanted to unlock every vehicle in the game and started off with one of the hardest ones to find, requiring me to first collect 50 spaceship parts for Omega. While on the hunt for these parts, I stumbled across another random event. For this, the game tried to trick me into getting into a bulldozer to help this NPC, who was apparently stuck. But I'm not stupid, and realised he was an actor placed there to get me to commit GTA and fail. Yeah, nice try, Rockstar, I'm not falling for that. My list of good deeds only continued stacking up when I helped an officer catch an escaped criminal, almost making up for the hundreds of people we had already murdered. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
I appreciate the help, buddy.
Oh, no problem, mate. After finding all 50 spaceship parts, we returned to Omega and were rewarded one of the coolest vehicles in the game. Although we had managed to get this far without committing GTA, I still doubted we'd be able to go all the way due to the sheer number of heists and missions I knew there was left to complete.
See how you feel when this is 18 inches deep inside. Get the lube.
Wait, I want to see this. Now that we'd accumulated a bit of spending money, I invested in the scrapyard, which would earn us $1,000 for every car we blew up, and was the second of the 23 properties we needed to buy. Right, I think we're going to do a hangout next, because we need to complete a bunch of activities during one for the 100% completion. That is not one of them. I did not mean to do that. Ah, whatever. Despite the numerous close calls we had already incurred, a quick check of my stats confirmed we were still in the clear for now, and I celebrated by completing another Strangers and Freaks mission. Oh no, not this guy again. Oh shit. The hotel assassination is the first of 5 assassination missions given to Franklin, and although I didn't yet know this, it was very important that I saved the remaining 4 missions until the very end of the game if I wanted to complete the extra objectives. Our next mission, Scouting the Port, is quite possibly the worst mission in GTA 5, where we spend what feels like 30 minutes moving shipping containers. Luckily, I don't think I got the job. But it was while Trevor was scouting the port, in the mission Scouting the Port, that he identified a mysterious shipping container that ended up containing a super weapon, and in the Merryweather heist, we stole this, but then Lester showed up and I stopped paying attention. What is that?
Great. Then you and the patient.
I was beginning to realise getting $1 billion for each character might be slightly harder than I first thought, as these story missions weren't exactly paying very much. On the plus side, we got given $100,000 in shares by one of the NPCs I helped out earlier. I guess he didn't notice me trying to shoot him in the back as he was leaving, but the auto-aim wouldn't let me. We were making great progress towards 100% completion, as well as a bit of progress towards the extra goals, but this would come to a grinding halt for Blitzplay, a multi-step heist requiring numerous setup missions to get boiler suits, masks, steal a tow truck, trash truck, and also getaway car. What's even worse is that you can't mission skip these setups. Bro, I'm so fucked. I'm gonna have to steal 3 vehicles already. But one thing I think GTA 5 doesn't get enough praise for, and I hope GTA 6 takes to a whole nother level, is the amount of choice it gives players. For example, you don't have to steal the tow truck that's marked on the map. Anyone will do. And after finding this out, I realised I'd already driven a tow truck earlier in the playthrough for the tow truck jobs, and that if I could just purchase the impound lot, I might be able to complete the setup using my own tow truck, which I again gathered the money for through a combination of donations, more good deeds, and also collecting underwater caches. I had a mini heart attack when I discovered that you can't use taxis when you have a wanted level, and instead you hijack it, almost costing me the run again.
Okay, the moment of truth. Will this actually work? Yep, okay, it actually works. Right, we're good. Nice. Who needs to steal cars when I got free transportation like this? This is perfect.
I wasn't quite so fortunate for the trash truck setup, but now that I had legal access to a tow truck, in theory I could just tow a trash truck to the drop-off without stealing it. Very slowly.
Guys, you're not exactly making this easy for me. Oh my god. This guy is so annoying. Where does bro think he's going? Stay there. Right. I need to finish this before this guy just drives off again. Nice.
Sourcing a getaway car was not quite so straightforward. See, I couldn't just use my personal vehicle. I was going to need to find a car to borrow legally. And this made me think back to the drunk couple random encounter from earlier, where they actually gave Trevor access to their vehicle during the mission without it counting as stealing. But that couple was kind of gone now. But by sheer luck, I still had one drunk driver random event remaining, who I hadn't already delivered to a cult to be eaten. And once again, they gave me permission to drive their car.
There's my car. You need to go get your shit together, man.
Okay, wait, it actually works. I don't think he's even going to notice if I borrow this real quick.
After wrapping up the heist finale, where we robbed an armoured truck full of government funds in broad daylight and left a trail of dead cops behind, I made sure to return the getaway car before he woke up, so he would never even know it had been missing. If we wanted to achieve 100%, we would need a gold medal or better in all 12 of the flight school lessons, but being the completionist I am, I of course achieved gold in all of them. As well as to complete all 5 street races, 6 off-road races, and 4 sea races. The street races were pretty straightforward. I could just use my own car, so I didn't have to worry about stealing one, and with brake boosting it basically turned into a rocket. I would take on these stock car races later in the challenge, as these aren't required for the official 100% completion, but I completed them nonetheless as an extra objective.
Officer. Yes, it is. Get on. Come on. Hands on the car. Let's go. Hey!
Trevor is yet again groping someone.
After completing a few more of the easier objectives, we were now 50% towards our main goal, but I was honestly beginning to regret setting myself all of those extra objectives, as they were bad enough, let alone having to complete them without committing GTA.
30 million? How is someone meant to buy all these properties? I have literally no idea what this mission is about. I may have skipped over the cutscene. Okay, that was not the target. Oh, here he is.
There you are.
In the following Strangers and Freaks mission, the game tried to make me steal a tow truck.
Are you out of your damn mind?
Fortunately, I'd already bought the impound lot, so I just rolled up in my legally owned tow truck like a semi-law-abiding citizen.
Man, why won't this fucking hook stay hooked?
Yeah, I wonder why it won't stay hooked.
I almost threw away all of my progress yet again in the mission Eye in the Sky, as muscle memory kicked in, and I was moments away from getting in the target vehicle.
Okay, now where were we? Guys, do we have enough shots?
We can finally kill this guy, yes. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I swear to God, I better be able to skip this. Like, the entire mission is about stealing a car. Oh no, I'm accidentally covering the car in gasoline. Oh, and now I'm accidentally setting fire to the gasoline. No, please stop. Okay, yeah, we can skip it. Nice.
We still had many Strangers and Freaks missions to complete, among other things, before we could even think about tackling the extra tasks. So I got back to work grinding through these, providing my important services to the community.
Hey, Hey, what's that? Illegals! It's a rat! Hey, okay! Sorry!
In one of these Strangers and Freaks missions, we met our new friend, Dom, who introduces us to the parachuting and base jumping activities.
You dumb idiot.
We would need to beat all 7 parachutes and 6 base jumps as part of the 100% completion. With those out of the way, we now returned to the main story missions, including one that I had been dreading, the Polito score. I still really wanted a flawless playthrough, but I was beginning to think it wasn't possible when I reached this point in the story.
Hey, we here on the ground. Them hick dudes in the woods.
The single prep mission for the Polito score not only cannot be skipped, but also the barracks truck that you have to steal cannot be towed either. My solution for this involved taking a massive risk. I blocked the truck in, waited for the driver to get out, and then took it. Which by some miracle, the game didn't count as stealing.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was gonna count as stealing. I guess the guy let me borrow it?
Once Franklin had recovered from the incident earlier, we were all set to take on the Polito score.
Get down on the ground! Stop resisting!
Yeah. Stay back! We got hostages!
Wait, we were meant to have hostages? Ooh, oh no.
The heist went surprisingly well, except for the one minor hiccup when one of my crew members got flattened by a police cruiser. Fortunately, he dropped his cut, so we didn't lose any money. Despite that it paid barely any money considering all the hard work we put in taking out all those hostages, I spent the earnings I did get on the downtown Cabgo business to make a bit more progress on the extra objectives. It made sense to purchase since I was basically a shareholder already, given how much money I was spending on the taxis. Although maybe my skills were better utilised being a passenger than a driver, as when I drove the taxi had a tendency to launch itself into orbit. Even though I'd only purchased a few so far, I was looking forward to buying all of the properties since I'd never done it before, even if I still needed to figure out how I was supposed to earn the 216 million required to buy all of them. At least I didn't need to get a gold medal in each mission for this challenge, since given some of my recent performances, I don't think the video would ever get released. I'd learnt from my prior mistakes regarding killing innocent bystanders, and was trying to only kill enemies in following missions, until I accidentally took out this innocent NPC while raiding the Humane Labs facility. The poor guy was just minding his own business on the elevator, but unfortunately my MLG sniper instincts kicked in and I may have taken his head off when the doors opened. Not all of our tasks were quite so action-packed. We also had to play 9 holes of golf, win a tennis match, among other slightly more peaceful things.
Some pure, mellow high. But I do get concerned about the monsters.
Although saying that, we did also finish Trevor's 5th and final rampage just after this, checking off one of our extra activities and hobbies. Surveying the score marked the beginning of the biggest heist yet, the Big Score. It was just a preparation mission, but I was already dreading the heist as I knew it required a getaway car. This was a problem because I wouldn't be able to use a drunk driver random event for the getaway car this time, since I'd already finished all of them.
My blimp. Oh.
While roaming around up in the Vinewood Hills area, we stumbled across 2 fellow English people rummaging through some bins, and of course, Trevor assaulted them. So to make amends, we agreed to collect a bunch of souvenirs for them.
I'm sorry, sir. I need your tooth to give to some old people.
1 gold tooth, complete with complimentary DNA. I knew you wouldn't let us down. Toodaloo!
It's private property. Hey! He just took my clothes!
I was still trying to turn over a new leaf, so when their final mission gave me the opportunity to spare the guy I just kidnapped for them, I chose to, but the game had other plans. Unsurprisingly, Trevor had made enemies out of basically everyone we had come into contact with so far, including the Chinese, who were currently after him, but apparently they mistook Michael for his boyfriend.
Get the boyfriend! Boyfriend?
Motherfucker.
and had him chained upside down in a slaughterhouse. Rescuing Michael was fine, but the problems began when we were escaping the slaughterhouse, and Franklin's personal vehicle was no longer there, nor would a taxi pick us up, forcing us to run back to Michael's house on foot. All I'll say is, I'm beginning to sympathise with NPCs because safely getting around as a pedestrian is impossible. I tried using pedestrian crossings, but even then we weren't safe.
Oh my god, we're finally here.
Look, you wake up one day and your legs, they just give. You just can't run anymore.
What do you mean your legs don't work, Michael? We just ran across like half the map.
After this, we made more progress in the hobbies and pastimes category, completing the remaining races. I'm not exactly the best at racing, but I found that if I aimed the shotgun at the other participants, they would rarely overtake me, and when they did, I could just eliminate them. This included the remaining street and all 4 stock car races, unlocking us 4 additional vehicles, including the Marshal. One of the required street races wasn't spawning in for some reason, preventing me from potentially getting the 100% completion. I ended up having to redo all of the races and sleep for like 40 hours straight to finally get it to spawn in so that I could progress. At least Franklin was well rested for the races afterwards. All of this racing reminded me that we were still lacking on our vehicle related goals, and so I purchased Michael a bicycle and a $30,000 garage to store it in. But it was while we were taking it for a test ride that we received a call from Franklin, who was collecting some blueprints in preparation for our next heist, the Bureau Raid. In the miscellaneous category, we were still missing 7 of the 16 tasks, including visiting the shoe store.
Guys, I have to do it. It's one of the miscellaneous tasks. I'm gonna have to censor all of this.
As part of my extra objectives, which I would thoroughly regret setting myself later on, I promised to complete all of the Strangers and Freaks missions that aren't usually needed for 100% completion, including going hunting with Cletus, who seemed kind of pissed off when I forced him to take a taxi with me because I didn't want to steal a car for us. I didn't think he'd invite me to come shooting again for the next mission, because I may have pushed him off the roof last time. But I guess he forgot, although I don't think he appreciated the new method of hunting I was trying to teach him. You may assume that raiding an ultra-secure government building using the cheapest heist crew possible would be a bad idea, and you'd be right. Okay, I will take partial blame for some of the landing problems we had, but I kinda had to go with the rooftop entry for the Bureau Raid since the other method required me to steal a fire truck, which I obviously didn't want to do. On the plus side, we didn't need to commit GTA and were one mission closer to potentially achieving a flawless no GTA run. Since Michael earned $0 for breaking into a literal government building, I really needed to start earning some more cash, so invested $250,000 in a dock and agreed to help this nice lady by finding submarine pieces.
I'll make it very worth your while.
Which was also one of the extra objectives I set myself that isn't normally required for 100% completion. After about an hour and a half of scouring the ocean floor, collecting all 30 submarine pieces, she paid us $10 fucking, which sadly caused my RPG to malfunction and fire directly at her. We'd have to come back to grinding money later because I was now somehow even worse off than before and nowhere near my goal, so went back to business as usual and grinded through the next 4 story missions. After taking out swarms of FIB and IAA agents in the wrap-up, for some reason no taxis would pick Michael up, but luckily I used the strategy of riding on a truck roof I'd learnt earlier to save him from having to run like his 10th marathon in a week. Since we'd finished Cletus's missions earlier, the hunting side activity became available, but I didn't realise you could only do it during the day, so Trevor ended up standing in the forest in his underwear all night, waiting for it to open. In the mission Meltdown, Devon Weston sends a squad of mercenaries to Michael's house, partly as payback for his assistant getting sucked into a jet engine. This made it crucial that we acted quickly to rob the Union Depository as planned before it got any hotter.
We move on that right away, before it gets any hotter.
And so we got back to work, completing the most important activities still left unfinished. Including collecting all of the nuclear waste from the ocean floor to complete the final collectible, and destroying some guy's livelihood and then blowing him up for some more Strangers and Freaks missions, since we still had a few extra ones remaining which, as usual, lived up to their name.
I'm real glad that you fucked my wife. Jesus.
With the biggest heist yet just around the corner, we also had to tackle the hardest prep missions yet, including somehow finding another getaway car. I didn't fancy stealing a police van and 4 gauntlets, so I went with the obvious approach for this heist, leaving me the small task of stealing a driller, a whole ass train, and a getaway car. Acquiring the driller was the only relatively straightforward prep, luckily allowing me to use a cheeky mission skip by blowing it up 3 times. The getaway car was a big problem, since I'd already finished all of the random events that I used for the other getaway car earlier, so I had to leave that prep for now. Stealing a train isn't technically Grand Theft Auto, so I knew I was probably safe to complete the 3rd prep without the game counting it as a vehicle being stolen, but I made sure not to leave any witnesses just in case.
Right, we just got to take out 2 NPCs here, should be easy. Just going to get in nice and close here so that there is no chance of missing. Sir, goddamn! Stop moving! Damn, look at that skin. He needs to moisturize or something. Whoa, where the fuck's he gone now? Oh! Damn, I thought he just saw us then. Line it up just like so. There we go. Easy. Right, who's next? Let's take this guy out with a grenade. Oh fuck, I'm dead. Right, that's it. No more messing around.
You shouldn't be.
I think I'm just gonna try mission skip this because I don't want to redo this whole challenge because for some reason the game like counts me picking up a train as stealing. That should do it. Nice. Let's go.
For our getaway car problem, I tried finding another random event where I could use a car. I tried using my own personal vehicle. I looked for glitches and workarounds but found no way of getting around it. The solution for this was much simpler than I expected. For some reason, vehicles that you purchase or unlock during the playthrough are apparently fine to use as a getaway car, so I was able to use one of the prize cars I unlocked earlier from winning the stock car races. With the prep work complete, I got all 3 of them dressed up in their smartest clothes, which they immediately changed out of, broke Brad out of prison,
Brad? Who the fuck is Brad?
and then took on the big score heist in which we tunneled into the Union Depository Vault, stole the carts loaded with gold, fought our way through waves of police and noose, and then escaped in our very inconspicuous getaway car that I literally own and can probably be traced back to me instantly. This earned us $30 million per character, which seemed like a lot, but I realised was not even close to the amount I would need if I was going to purchase all of the properties, vehicles and weapons. With the weight of the FIB, Steve Haynes, Devin Weston, the Triads, and basically every fucking person in the game on us, Michael, Franklin and Trevor are backed into a final stand in which we must hold off waves of mercenaries at the refinery and then take down the story's biggest antagonists to complete the final story mission.
Throw it.
Finishing with Devin Weston himself, where I could thankfully use a mission skip to avoid having to steal his car. As good as it was to reach this milestone, we still had some big problems to solve. But before we could sort out the money issue, I had a few loose ends to wrap up in the other categories, including completing a booty call, the under the bridges, knife flights, stunt jumps, and many others, such as watching a movie at the cinema.
Oh, what? Where am I supposed to go now?
Extra endgame missions also now became unlocked, including the Mrs. Phillips Strangers and Freaks mission, which presented me yet another problem, as to complete it, we would need to steal and deliver a deludable van to Trevor's trailer. On top of this, it was finally time to face the hardest tasks and figure out how we were going to earn over $3 billion in total. As I mentioned earlier, this would partly rely on the 4 remaining assassination missions, as well as a bit of clever stock market trading.
Oh shit. I think I did it wrong.
Starting with completing the first remaining assassination. All you need to do is just repeat this mission 46,478 times, which took me around 140 days of continuous grinding. Following this, you'll... No, I'm just kidding. I found a video that shows you the exact trades you need to make before and after each assassination mission to make as much money as possible. Once I'd completed all 5 assassination missions, using a mission skip to avoid having to commit GTA in the bus assassination mission, I'd accumulated over 1.3 billion for each character using this method, which meant we now had the funds to complete all but 2 of the remaining tasks, and I purchased every property, weapon...
It ain't the size of the gun in the fight, it's the size of the... you know what, fuck that, it's the size of the gun.
and as many vehicles as each character could own. But what were the last 2 tasks we were struggling to finish? Returning to the Mrs. Phillips mission from earlier, I still hadn't figured out a way to deliver the Deludamore van to Trevor's trailer, meaning the Strangers and Freaks missions were still incomplete. I managed to use a cargo bob to transport it most of the way without it counting as stealing, but the mission still wouldn't end. Since I hadn't entered the vehicle, I'd been so careful the entire playthrough and didn't want to fail right near the end, but had no option but to quickly get into the van to complete the mission.
I swear to God, if this counts as stealing.
We also still needed to join a cult as Michael, and so I used this same approach to complete the Epsilon mission that I got stuck on earlier, moving the cars with the cargo bob, ramming them into position carefully, and then momentarily getting in each of them to trigger the mission to finish, hopefully without it counting as stealing. The rest of the Epsilon missions after this were absolute hell to complete, and included wearing their stupid robes for 10 days straight and running 5 miles in the desert, where I also got tasered, kidnapped, and woke up seconds before I was about to be flattened by a train. But it was all worth it, as at the very end of these missions, I unlocked a rusty tractor. With those final 2 tasks complete, after robbing Merryweather, the FIB, the Union Depository, completing all the main missions, side missions, collectibles, hobbies and pastimes, and a bunch of other totally unnecessary things, every single one of our goals had now been completed, and 100% completion had been achieved. But the real question was, had I succeeded in my challenge of completing everything in GTA without stealing a single vehicle? Had I completed GTA without committing GTA?
Oh, I don't even want to look. I think we should go to the shoe store and celebrate.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see me complete another totally pointless challenge, check out this video. Otherwise, thank you for watching.